I love Path of Exile, but it's far from perfect.
I think this is gonna
Just
be
off the top
interesting
of my
video.
head, I've got issues with the new player experience, the game's difficulty and character balance, casual multiplayer, the reliance on third-party tools, and of course, trade. Now this is gonna sound like a lot of negatives, and you're gonna think I hate this game, but please take what I say in this video under the context that I love this game, and I just want it to be as fun for as many people as possible, myself included.
I watched like the
I
first
feel
minute.
like I have to preface the video by saying that these points I'm going to be bringing up are purely my opinion, and you should form your own opinions about all of this stuff. I encourage you to write out your own thoughts on the matter so we can get some healthy discussion going on and have a bunch of different perspectives. With that out of the way, let's get into it. I'll start off where every Path of Exile player starts off, the new player experience. How many of you more experienced players have tried getting a friend or two into the game recently? And how many of them are still playing? Nobody? Nothing? Yeah, that seems about right. This game is horrible for new players. I mean, just downright not fun. I have the unique position of seeing a lot of comments on my beginner's guide video discussing how difficult and obtuse the game is as a new player. I sympathize with these players because I know from my own experiences trying to get friends into it that the start of the game does everything it can to set players up for failure. Let's do a quick analysis of the very first zone of the game and you'll see what I mean. After creating your character, you wake up on the beach.
This I never really never really thought about this point from a new player's perspective, but the game really kind of wants you to fail.
With nothing equipped, and you click on this dead guy and pick up a weapon. You then promptly kill your first enemy and receive a skill gem. The game teaches you to place the gem in your socket, and then you're free to go wild and kill some enemies. Except, guess what? Big mistake. If a player decides to engage in combat with the enemies they will definitely run into here, they're literally setting themselves up for failure.
Like, this makes, when I think about it, this really doesn't make sense. You gain full level when you kill a Hillock, so killing all the monsters before Hillock is just completely waste of time. Not only that, but you're also losing Flask.
Failure against Hillock.
Okay, this is weird. When I continue a video, it just freezes for like 2 seconds and then it continues. It's kind of weird.
Hillock has so much health and deals so much damage that a new player that's already used up a couple of their flask charges fighting the monsters is destined to have a bad time. They'll fight Hillock,
no, it's not just
they don't have
that.
enough charges, and die.
I don't agree that the game needs to just hand you items. That's not really. If the game is so difficult that you cannot farm items for yourself, also I guess partially I agree, because for a new player you don't really understand like how the game like comes together, how the build comes together, what you need to do. So not having. No, I don't think so. What a new player is gonna do with Tabla? He's gonna put it on and put like 2 gems and that's it. Or if the new player is gonna put too many gems and run out of mana immediately. But yeah, I agree that the game should like give you some starter weapons or starter items to. But then again, if the game is so hard that you need starter weapons. Okay, maybe the problem is not the difficulty, but just new players don't really understand what they need to do. Maybe the game should hand you some items with like resistances and some life to teach you early game and importance of resistance.
And then they have to run all the way back to try fighting him again some more. This is actually where a huge chunk of players give up and quit. The correct way to play here is to avoid fighting anything that moves, except for Hillock, ensuring that you'll have enough flasks to survive him. Honestly, what the hell, GGG? Would it kill you guys to make this easier? Either give the player more damage or make Hillock deal less, it doesn't really matter. Nobody, and I mean no.
Yeah, but that's mostly in MMORPGs. This is not MMORPG, this is action RPG. And also, the quests that give you rare items are absolutely trash. Like those rare items, 99.99999% of the time you're gonna throw it away or vendor it right away. You almost never get anything good out of those. So yeah, the game should probably have like predetermined pre-rolled items as rewards. Didn't we have that like very long time ago?
No one is coming out of that fight thinking, damn, that was a good fight.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Like in Act 1 after like after the first quest from the title island, it could grant you like some boosts of movement speed as a optional reward. I don't know, give some amulet with resistances and life add on, something like that.
The next one.
Or
This
attributes.
game isn't a Souls game. It's an action RPG with what I consider to be the ultimate power fantasy. New players shouldn't be given the opportunity to want to quit 2 minutes into the game. Okay, let's say the new player persevered and made it to Lionized.
I don't know about the difficulty part. Like, it's hard to understand how new players view the game when I have been playing this game for almost 10 years now.
To watch the starting
There are
count.
many problems
This is
with
when they'll first encounter
where
what
the game needs
PoE
to
is
improve.
most known for, the skill tree. Some players will look at this and be excited by the promise of endless possibilities. Most will not. They'll see this massive web of nodes and be utterly overwhelmed by
Yeah,
it.
and be like, oh, what the hell is this? I'm gonna go play Tetris or something else.
When I first saw this 9 years ago, I was actually blown away and excited by it, but I had already played Final Fantasy X before, best game ever by the way, and had experience with its sphere grid leveling
What? Path of Exile actually stole it from this game. I never played this game.
system, which was a direct inspiration for PoE's tree. I think that if GGG wants more players to stick around, they need to streamline the tree for the early levels. With the way the tree is currently set up, there are too many branches that
I had some suggestions that it should limit how much of the passive skill tree you even see when you create a character to not overwhelm new players. Like, let's say you are a Scion and then you only see like, let's say this part. You see what's around and you cannot zoom out anywhere, or maybe just hide the rest of the tree, like a fog of war.
a new player can choose from. Like these stat nodes that are used as shortcuts for experienced players. An experienced player knows not to take those nodes in the early levels and that they're mostly used late game for min-maxing purposes. But a new player has no idea. They see intelligence and think, I'm a caster, I guess intelligence will be good, right? These nodes just add more opportunities for new players to mess up. I think that the less choices new players have, the more choice.
I think these kind of videos are very interesting. I always was like very interested to see how new players behave, how they think when they enter the PoE, how we interact with the game in general.
They'll make before quitting. And since this game is free to play, isn't that the goal? To get new players to stick around for as long as possible so that eventually they'll feel.
Even this boss can kill new players very quickly. The flame dash away does a lot of damage, then leaves the burning ground. You need to move outside that burning ground. And you can't really run away from this boss if you're slow.
Felt to spend money on it? Listen, I could go on obsessing over every little thing that I think ruins the new player experience, like how some skill gems are just trash compared to others. But I'd be sitting here for hours, and it all boils down to the same.
Wait. What?
Skill gems are just trash.
Did you
compared
just
to
throw
others.
away? What? Both are good. Molten Strike is good. What the hell? Don't throw away
I'd be
Molten
sitting here
Strike.
for hours, and it all boils down to the same thing. Make the game easier for beginners.
I always use Molten Strike for leveling. Yeah, what else is better until like level 12? Nothing.
To get into. Make it almost impossible for a new player not following a build to screw it up entirely and get
What? Cleave is shit. It has no AoE early on. Molten Strike with Ancestral Call clears so much better than Cleave, because Cleave you cannot support with Ancestral Call. No, Ground Slam is also a small AoE, you need to target every single enemy, and Molten Strike works very well against single target as well. Way better than Ground Slam. Also, Ground Slam you can only use with like maces, axe, staff. So not all weapons, and usually use Princess for leveling. So that cannot be used with Ground Slam.
I don't mind if things pick up in difficulty in the endgame, but please, make the campaign as enjoyable for new players as possible. They have it rough considering all the different systems that have been added to the game over the years.
Yep.
If you're interested in hearing more about the new player experience,
I'm so sick of leagues being added to the core game. I just want like a full cleanse, remove all the previous leagues and start over, basically.
actual new player's perspective though, check out my buddy Jack's excellent video covering exactly that, link in the description. So I've touched on difficulty in the campaign already, what about during the endgame and boss fights and all that? Well, let me start with the positive. I think that bosses are actually in a pretty good spot in terms of in-game difficulty. I think
Except
that they pose
Cirrus.
a solid
We can all agree that Cirrus is pure cancer.
challenge, especially to players that are encountering them for the first time. And I think that for the most part, the pinnacle
Damn,
bosses
that's
are
some good
pretty
dodging.
fun. That being said, I do have an issue with them, and that's their availability. Invitations, fragments, Maven's Writs, all of these systems take too long to acquire for your
Some of them, yeah, but I don't know if I agree with that. I kind of like that it's not something that you have to do, and even if you do, what you're gonna get? Some random shit that you're probably not gonna feel rewarded. So, I don't know. I'm not surprised Sentinel isn't going core. Like, how does it make sense to put Sentinel into the core game? What does Sentinel bring that we don't have already? Only more power creep, that's it. Nothing else. More power creep and more loot that is hard to balance to not be overwhelmingly the best way to farm everything. You want essences? You don't do essence. You use the Sentinel that gives you essence. You want fossils? You use Sentinel. I think that Sentinel is good as a league, but it shouldn't be into the core game.
average player. I know that I can just farm my tier 16 maps for an hour or two and I'll be able to afford them by trading with other players, but your average player? They've worked their butt off to get these items the normal way through RNG, and now they're expected to waste it on trying to learn the fight without knowing if they'll actually be able to complete it or not.
Actually,
No,
yeah.
the logical thing to do in that scenario is to just sell the keys to someone like me who already knows the fight.
You know what would be nice? If Path of Exile had like a... What do you call it? Like a training bosses. You get absolutely no loot. You enter the boss fight as many times as you want, and whenever you want, essentially, or after like certain requirements. But you could just talk to NPC and say, okay, I wanna fight, like do the boss training. What do we call it? Boss test, boss training, testing ground, whatever, and then select the boss that you want to spawn, or enter the arena, open the portals, and then land the boss fights.
They then receive some currency and get to buy some upgrades for their build, and maybe they'll try the boss.
Yeah, like
next fight.
simulation.
Except that
No loot, nothing, just like no extra modifiers, just the base boss with the normal values that it would normally have, so you can like actually train.
they won't, because the cycle
And you only
repeats
get
over
training
and over.
once.
The
That's
only way
it.
to learn these fights is to actually go into them and be okay with wasting these keys, potentially several times. This process feels awful, and to be honest, I don't know.
Actually, since I was recently playing MapleStory has like basically you do bosses every day, and then there are some bosses that you can. It's like a test run. It's like a training. You get no rewards, but you can train against that boss infinite amount of times per day, and then learn the mechanics. It should definitely have that in PoE. Some bosses, although. I mean, most bosses don't really have that many phases.
What the ideal solution is.
not really
Maybe just
trial,
make these
but-
fragments and invitations more common so that players don't automatically feel
But here's the problem. If they make it more common, then those who are experienced just gonna farm the shit out of it. It's just gonna make it more accessible and cheaper for those who know what we are doing. So how do you balance it?
like the smart thing to do is to just sell them to the more experienced players. Or maybe something else. If you've got ideas, I'd love to hear them. What about the actual mapping experience? One word, degens. I didn't
Oh my god, yes, degens.
like playing the floor is lava as a kid, and I sure as hell don't like playing it now. Honestly, this is just annoying, and the fact
There are so many degens in the game. I had a list of all the degens that I encountered when playing one of the weird builds, and it was so many, just insane amount of all sorts of degens. Not just like the cold snap or the burning ground, but there are monsters that have physical degen aura. There are monsters that have like here's degen aura. Then there are monsters that apply some debuff that does damage over time. Then there are other monsters that apply all sorts of ignites, poison, other sort of shit like essence drain. It's just insane.
that
The
GGG
balance
keeps
fields.
introducing new varieties of chilling ground each league is undeniable proof that they don't want you to have fun. Jokes aside, beyond degens, I think the biggest issue while mapping is the fact that standing still for a fraction of a second will get you killed. And that's exactly why the most popular meta builds, especially League starters, are builds that involve having something other than your own character attack all the enemies for you while you just run around trying to dodge everything.
You are not allowed to stand still in this game. If you stand still, you're dead. If you stand still for even a second, you're dead. Even if you're tanky, you don't want to be standing still. I'm not experienced with very deep delving.
Talking totems, brands, minions, and traps. You know, the usual. The game seems to be balanced around these builds, and I think the result is a game that can be very frustrating if you're not playing one of them. I wish that PoE was a game where all the different archetypes had an equal footing in terms of survivability and damage output, but I accept that that's never going to happen and is an unreasonable request. There will always be builds that are better than the rest by a mile, and there's nothing anyone...
Yeah, in every league we change the meta, so what was meta before becomes non-meta and people forget about it. Even if nothing really changed, people just get tired of the same meta and try to move on, try to find different things.
One can do about it. Here's something that I don't think gets enough attention in PoE these days. Multiplayer. When did people...
Wait, Path of Exile is a multiplayer game? Oh my god.
Stop making public parties for everything. It used to be that there would constantly be groups of strangers leveling together either through the campaign or even in maps.
Wait, people actually do that? We just team up with random people and go through normal zones? Yeah, but even if you're tanky, it doesn't mean that you just have to go into the fire, you know? Just because you are wearing the fireproof costume doesn't mean that you have to stand in the fire. It's still smarter to move out of the fire.
But nowadays, I find it extremely rare, and I think I know why. Efficiency. We used to farm dried legs.
Oh my god, efficiency is another topic that I'm so tired of hearing. Everyone trying to be the most efficient instead of just playing the game and having fun. It's like people turn the game into like some kind of job, some kind of like charts and all this shit, but oh, we need to do this map because this map is like 5% better, and then, oh my god.
Or docks, or even the Fellshrine ruins over and over before entering maps in random parties. It was efficient to do so. Someone would be playing a character that could clear entire screens worth of mobs, and you'd be doing your best to keep up with them to make sure you're still getting experience. Nowadays, if we were to try to do something like that, you'd have one dude that could literally clear the entire zone in probably seconds, and the others would still be stuck at the beginning. The power gap between these players is so huge that it's just not fun for anyone. Everyone's in this mindset of playing efficiently to make as much currency per hour as possible with the latest and greatest Atlas strats that their favorite streamers are promoting. Why would you join?
That's why I have been always promoting my Atlas strategy is pick whatever you like. Pick whatever you like doing the most. I liked essences, so I picked essences, but then later I learned that doing Sentinel is better than doing essences. I hated delirium, I blocked delirium and stuff like that. Yeah, because... And then you burn yourself out, indeed, yeah. But by trying to be efficient instead of just doing what's fun for you.
Join somebody's party for some random Alchemgo maps that might even have mods that are too dangerous for your build, if you could be doing something that you've tailored to your tastes and your character's strengths specifically. There isn't any. And I think that sucks. Call me crazy, but I miss playing this massively multiplayer game with other players.
I honestly kind of want to play with others, but like Path of Exile is such a game where you move so fast. Like if you don't stick, if you don't stick yourself like glued to other player, you kind of become too far apart, and then one is getting XP, another is not getting XP, one is picking up loot and the other one is running far ahead. It's like, it's weird. The game has become too fast in a sense.
A couple weeks ago, someone on my friends list asked me if I could help them do their first Uber Elder. Since I have this solid Molten Strike character I had decked out, I of course said sure thing, and we both entered the fight together. It was total chaos. I died like 3 times because I'm super squishy and there were degens all over the place, but we did manage to beat them, and it was probably the most fun I had all league. We need more of this.
Yeah, I had been asking GG, I even emailed them before with this idea that we need some kind of multiplayer raids. Because bossing is fun, especially when the bosses are really tough and when you can do it with like other players. Like in MMORPGs when you can raid with other players, like that kind of feeling when you are raiding something. But you
Friends
need
are what
others.
keep us
But then
playing.
again, there's such a power creep that someone else is like with 100 million DPS is gonna go in and then just delete the boss in a couple of seconds. Well, I was gonna feel like we are being carried.
Games. Why are the devs so concerned about player interaction a la trade when they should be trying to promote party play? Unfortunately, I don't know how this can be fixed, since it seems to be mostly caused by a shift in how we as players choose to play the game, and not because of some direct change that the devs implemented.
I think that the game speed, the movement speed, the attack speed and cast speed, and performance has a big impact on multiplayer as well. Because if one moves too fast, the other one is lagging behind. It's not fun if you're just trying to. If your gameplay becomes trying to catch your friend who's moving so much faster than you, it's just not fun, right?
And yes, I know that playing in duos or big parties is actually the most efficient way to play.
My new GPU could not handle this kind of content.
And make currency, but that requires a ton of knowledge and time investment from all the players involved, and it's just not at all what I'm trying to.
I don't know. I don't want to discuss about optimization because Chris said multiple times that the game is very well optimized. It's just the way the game works. Like, whatever game do you have to compare it? Diablo 3, right? Diablo 3 runs much better, yes. But it also doesn't have as many crazy things happening on the screen. Like, what can you tell what's happening on this screen right now? Like, I can't really understand anything. Like, there's a bunch of white things shooting, projectiles flying. I see some courses. I can't see any enemies. I can't see the player. I can't see anything on the ground. And a bunch of loot is covering the screen. Like, it's a visual mess. And a lot of enemies spawn from out of nowhere. In Diablo 3, it's not like immediate spawn. Enemies usually come out from the ground or like, I don't know, from ceilings or something like that. From what I remember, and there are way less enemies, I guess. And the effects are also not like the effects in Diablo 3 are a lot more easier to see, I guess.
Talk about here. I'm trying to promote casual drop-in, drop-out party play. Maybe it's just me and I'm not trying hard enough. I just feel so alone when I'm playing now. Maybe that's why people get attached to watching streams while they're playing, because it's comforting to have that interaction with other people, even if it is just mindlessly spamming Twitch emotes. Here's a pretty big problem the game has. Its reliance on third-party tools.
Oh my god, yes. Like every league there's like a new tool for the league, like even for Sentinel. Wait, do we have something for Sentinel? Actually, I'm not sure.
Excellence Next, Awaken PoE Trade, The Wiki, Path of Exile, Better Trading, PoE Lab, PoEDB, TFD. Look, this has gotten insane, dude. Is this a video game where I get to have fun for a couple hours, or am I secretly still stuck in university writing a paper that I left for last minute, just trying to meet that ridiculous word count?
Imagine taking a break from PoE for like 2-3 leagues, then coming back and there's like 5 different websites that you need to log in to see if what you're doing is correct and to understand what you're supposed to be doing and to plan everything is just, oh my god, it's such a mess.
Professor insisted on and bullshit my way to an A. In isolation, all of these tools are great and were all made with the intent of making the in-game experience better for everyone. But now there are so many of them, it's gotten out of hand. Hot take, but this stuff should be in-game or it shouldn't exist at all in my opinion.
Yeah, it should be in-game, but shouldn't it exist at all? I don't agree with that. No matter what, passionate players will create guides. Even long ago, like 15 years ago, I was creating some guides on Mo Online about crafting and stuff like that. I even had like some very old website. I just remember that just to mess around with the website, just because I love the game. So people who are passionate still gonna create guides because we are passionate. We like talking about that thing and discussing and trying to figure out the best methods. But then again, the best methods turn into the efficiency, and then the efficiency turns into, in my opinion, into boredom, and then you become burnout too quickly instead of having fun. I don't know.
fine with a couple of these existing. Path of building is excellent and the wiki answers a lot of questions, but every league, more and more of these become relevant, and players that are trying to be efficient are expected to be familiar with most of these tools and websites just because.
How about World of Warcraft? I never really played World of Warcraft, but as far as I know, a lot of people use like third-party tools like add-ons in World of Warcraft as well to display the help, or like DPS meter, stuff like that. Although I think I heard that it is pretty much mandatory if you want to play World of Warcraft, right? So isn't the same for most games? None of the games have enough information about the game in the game. Most games rely way too much on wikis and other players doing the... Although, is that a bad thing that other players, like passionate players who create content about it and explain about the game mechanics more?
Everyone else is using them. I don't enjoy looking up the list of mods on Path of Exile to figure out the best way to craft a certain item, but I sure as hell feel like I'd be stupid if I didn't do it. I feel like this issue has only gotten worse over the years, and it just sucks that nothing is being done about it. And to everyone involved in making these tools a reality...
I'm not mad. I'm just
disappointed.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. I get why you do what you do. You're providing a solution for players to make the game more enjoyable, but here's the thing. That shouldn't be left up to you. It's on the devs to make a better game, not you. You guys are enabling GGG to keep on introducing obscure mechanics to the game the way they have been for years, because someone will come along and make a tool to simplify it. Regarding trade.
That's another thing. I think GG has this expectation that people want complexity. I actually kind of enjoy Path of Exile as well. It's kind of fun simulating the mods and simulating how the craft would work in game. But back to the topic, I think we are also to blame that GG keeps although as of recently, I guess we have been trying to add like more simpler leagues. Yeah, like Sentinel. Oh, you click the button, you get loot, but you also make enemies stronger. But like if you compare to Synthesis League, people saw the Synthesis and they were like, nope, I'm not playing this Tetris. Bye bye. Even after we improved the league, first impression is like very important, right? If people get a bad first impression, it's very difficult to change that impression.
What is there to say that hasn't already been said over and over? The current state of trade...
Okay, trade is the only thing that can make me quit PoE. I get so frustrated with trading, it's just insane. Even Cirrus is not as frustrating as trade. And you know how much I hate Cirrus fight.
Sucks. Nobody has fun trading. Not a single person. Not even the bots have fun trading. You know.
I don't know about that. But yeah, trading, I think, is the worst part. And like GG has this weird philosophy, you know, the keyword weight, and everything has to have weight and value, and if you pick up something from the ground, you have to feel the weight. Like the trading is just so annoying. Why can't we make like trading like in China servers? We keep coming up with the excuses, or like not excuses, the counter arguments why it shouldn't be like that, why it shouldn't be improved. Like, I don't understand GG's weird philosophy about trading.
Because they don't have emotions as far as I know. Give us an auction house, a trading post, let us have a little shop set up in our hideouts so trades can still happen while we're in maps or something. Anything would be better than what we currently have, where we...
Yeah, pretty much anything that would be better, indeed. Pretty much any system for trading would be better than what we have right now. This is so 2000. You whisper players and ask them to trade, ask them to leave whatever we are doing, drop whatever we are doing just to get a trade. How old school is that? Like, holy shit, come on. We are living in 2022.
And so much time just whispering people over and over, praying that they'll respond to us, so we can just get back to the fun part of the game. At this point, I don't care what the solution is, just make it better. Lastly, I just want to touch on the future of Path of Exile and what we've all come to accept as Chris's vision. For one, I think that the 3-month league schedule is really showing its cracks. It's abundantly clear every league that the devs do not get enough time to think their new additions to the game through before starting working on them.
Oh yeah, every league is like a test run. We add mechanics, and then 2 months later we are still improving them.
Somewhere, somehow, ideas are being
Maybe it is just a testing ground indeed. Like, we are just a beta testers for PoE 2. We just throw in ideas, the easiest way possible, I guess, to see if that would work, and then a test run for Path of Exile 2, right? Maybe.
improved without a real critical look at how things will play out from the player's perspective. Most recently, I'm referring to the implementation of the Arch Nemesis monsters. These were reintroduced to the game as being a net positive for players. Look, it might take you a little bit to become familiar with what all these new modifiers mean, but in the long run, you'll be able to identify.
I don't know if we are testing recombinators in PoE 2. I think it adds too much power creep. And like with everything, there's either something that is OP broken or something that is just so nerfed that no one wants to use. There's very rarely a middle ground. So if they were to nerf recombinators, because right now they are just way too powerful and way too good, and they cannot go into the core game, we just add power creep. If they nerf it, it would be absolutely useless. No one would use it, I think. They just did that. Full of test ones they need to focus on. No, they have like an alpha test, like a, what do you call it, beta alpha test, whatever. It's a separate from the main league or from the main client. People use basically beta testers. There are a bunch of people who beta test things, even players, but we are not allowed to speak about that, so we don't hear about it. But there are a bunch of beta testers. We don't need to create a whole league just to test stuff, because that would be a massive financial loss. Like, look at this league. It's fun, and those who stay play for longer, but a lot of people quit sooner because there's not many new things.
Them super quickly and be able to react accordingly. Unlike our old system, well, here in the real world, nothing good has come of it. Ignoring that these monsters were extremely overtuned at the start of the league, all of the annoying old mods that rare monsters used to have still exist. They're just hidden in the new ones. These were meant to replace the old system. Instead, they just made things more
Yeah, I feel like we got scammed about this. I thought that we are going to be replacing all the previous mods. The way it was implemented, it was way too difficult, and we still have the previous mods. It just, now visually you can tell what other things that we have. Well, most of the time.
confusing and frustrating for everyone. What was the
Sentinel is boring. I don't agree with that. Sentinel, I think it's very simple, but it's also very rewarding. People who want to farm use Sentinel very efficiently, I guess. Again, efficiency. But Sentinel is great. You press the button, you get rewards, and you can choose what kind of rewards you want to focus on. It's simple and good. Like, what else do you do in game? You go kill monsters, and now you can press another button to get extra rewards that you want to focus on while killing those monsters. So I think it doesn't need to be complicated to be fun. But I understand that it's not, like, what would you want from the league to be fun? Synthesis? I liked synthesis, but it was very exhausting. Like, after like 2 weeks it became very exhausting. You had to think every time you interacted with synthesis. You have to think how to rotate the thing, how to connect everything, the plan ahead, and stuff like that. So again, Path of Exile does not need to be complex to be fun.
point? Look, I won't pretend to know how much more time GGG would need between releases to actually iron that stuff out before the public is playing them. But this cycle of releasing things that aren't well thought out and then fixing them in patches later on is getting old. As far as PoE 2 is concerned, I do have some concerns. Visually, PoE 2...
It's fine, PoE 2 will fix everything, we know that. Yeah, that's why I say we don't need more complexity. We need more simple things, because complexity does not attract new players. Simple things attract new players. The more complexity you add, you run into the same problems. Then you need more websites to explain it and how everything interacts, and then we end up with the same problem. You need too many third-party programs. It's too difficult to understand for most players. Complexity is fun for people like me who try to overthink too much. But then again, and another thing, power creep. Complexity can be, like, if something is too complex, the new player is gonna be, okay, that's too difficult, I'm just gonna ignore that. And those who understand will make like absolute insane profits doing that. So it just increases the gap between a new player or less experienced player and those top players. And then we see those Reddit threads, complaining about how the game is designed around top players. And maybe that's true, because whenever it's too complex, people say that it's designed for those top players who understand everything and want to deep dive into those mechanics and not just mindlessly go kill monsters. So complexity is not always good. We already have enough complexity, I think.
It looks great, and I have no doubt that the new campaign will be excellent the first time through, maybe even the first few times through. But unless PoE 2 is coming with another revamp to the endgame or introduces some new systems we haven't even...
And now, as for the endgame, they said that every league we're gonna improve endgame more and more now, leading to Path of Exile 2. So I think we're gonna do another like massive endgame rebalance before PoE 2.
heard of yet. I don't think it's going to be the huge game changer that the community is hoping.
Wow, that actually looks so different from what I'm used to seeing. It's like a completely different game. Wow. Is it confirmed? Oh yeah, it is. Wait. No, it's not confirmed for 2024. It's just like approximate timeline.
It'll be. Players are going to continue to complain about having to level characters through the campaign each time they want to try out a new build, and until something's done about that, it's never going to change.
But it's not like a confirmation, it's more like a estimation. They have delayed it like, what, 4 or 5 times now already? I believe 2021 winter was supposed to be a beta test, and then the COVID happened, then it got pushed back even more and more.
I also feel like there's this pressure being put on PoE 2 to solve some of the issues I've brought up today, and I think it's a mistake to leave them until PoE 2 comes out. Players are getting more and more irritated with how improvements to the game are being handled, and I hope that GGG considers addressing them sooner rather.
Yo, I don't remember this zone. That looks cool. Did you hear about Diablo 4? Not really confirmed for 2024. That's gonna be a massive clash between Diablo 4 and PoE 2. I think we're gonna rush to be the first to release, and that could add some problems.
Rather than later. It's fun to meme about Chris's vision and all, but I'm really not too worried about it. In all the interviews I've seen, and I have seen them all, Chris seems like a really down-to-earth, passionate guy.
Yeah, I
Now,
agree.
his ideal vision of the game involves taking everything we dislike about PoE and cranking that up to 11. But here's the thing, he loves his game and wants what's best for it. He knows that that's not the direction the players want the game to go into. That's why he's working so much on hard mode.
Hard mode, hard mode, hard mode, hard mode.
Maybe I'm
You can compare PoE to Diablo? Why? Well, maybe not to Diablo 4, because Diablo 4 is gonna be focusing... Wait, didn't they change it? I thought that Diablo 4 was initially supposed to be like a multiplayer game with open world, well, sort of open world raids, but then we changed that, and PoE 2 was never supposed to be like that.
full of hopium, but I don't...
I disagree. I think PoE 2 will absolutely destroy Diablo 4. However, for newer players, for more casual players, I think Diablo 4 will still be a go-to. But then again, I feel like Diablo 4 don't even know what we want from the game. We know that we can capitalize on getting money out of it. And we know that, well, other people are doing this successfully, so we can do that. We have Diablo 3 and Diablo 2, so we can make Diablo 4 with some innovations, but I think it's I don't know. I think Diablo 4 is going to be interesting, but I don't have much faith in it. PoE 2 has a very clear vision, and it's not really a different game. It's just the same PoE. It's going to be the same client. Obviously, it's going to be much bigger. Oh my god, it's already over 40 gigabytes. It's probably going to be like over 100 gigabytes when PoE 2 comes out. But PoE 2 has a clear vision of what we want to achieve and what the game is supposed to be. We are just improving on the current game, while Diablo 4 is just... It's not going to be Diablo 3, it's going to be something different completely, and we're not entirely sure, so I can definitely feel that we don't exactly know what we want from Diablo 4, we just want money, you know, Blizzard.
Vision will interfere with Path of Exile that much anymore. Also, I just want to buy Chris a beer one day, so I don't want to close that door just yet if I can avoid it. Like I said earlier, it's totally fine to disagree with anything that I said here. I just wanted to give my opinion and start some discussion about it. I know I probably came off as being really unhappy with the game right now, but
no, I think everyone are in the same situation. Most people are unhappy about something about the game. Some are more unhappy about more aspects of the game. Some are just don't really care. I really want trading improvements. And Ciro's gone, that's it.
I really hope it's clear to you that I wouldn't care to make this video if I didn't love the game already. I mean, who in their right mind would play a game for thousands of hours if they're not having fun? You weren't supposed to see that.
Yeah, great video. Watch PV2 trailer? Okay.
Among ancient ruins, evil grows once more.
Evil?
The seed of corruption advances, spreading dread and despair. We must give chase.
That looks slow and clunky, wouldn't you agree? Now that we're used to speed. I think we discussed about the game looking zoomed out a bit more than usual. It's hard to tell. Let's see. Full screen. The character is... no, I think some zones may have a bit more zoom out. And also it depends on the character size and the environment. No, I think it's pretty much the same size. The camera may be a bit shifted. This zone looks really cool. And also it looks like that zone would murder new players. If you don't have enough AoE, like imagine you playing Heavy Strike. You're screwed.
These sands hide countless secrets.
Damn, looks so cool.
3,000 years of dormant malevolence. We must hunt down the seed and put an end to this madness. If Rayclast is to survive.
It does look so much better. And the grounds... wait. After all those years, the ground slam still looks the same as it was. Oh, actually, no, wait. We did change ground slam some times ago. The ground slam looks so outdated here. Where was it? Here, the ground slam looks so outdated. Like, it hasn't changed in years. Could I have used some different skill, like, I don't know, the new facial cascade, what's it called, center? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway,